Nithyananda, and welcome to this very important video, putting together even more pieces of the puzzle in the conspiracy against Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda. They have both had very close personal relationships with the men who were the conspirators behind the attack against Nithyananda. Monster, who is your ex-husband.
His name is Douglas MacKallor. Is when I came to know he is conspiring against Swamiji. He and Vinay both approached me and asked me to put a false allegation against Swamiji.
Vinay Bharadwaj, right after he had approached Mahaprabha for lying about Swamiji, he started to actively pursue this sexual relationship with me.
He knew you were 12 years old.
Yes, of course he knew.
No. The full story of this attack against Swamiji up until, you can say, early February 2010. Swamiji was like a rising star. There would be easily 30,000, 40,000 people in queue, sometimes 2 or 3 days in advance, just for one hug from him. Now, that all changed overnight. A fake video was leaked by a group called Sun TV, the now defunct Sun TV, for whom the COO is behind bars. The video that Sun TV played was the video that basically came as the product between the alliance between these three men. And so Douglas and Vinay and Lennin. Now, the way that they morphed this video of the actress Ranjita and made it look like she was in a compromising position with Swamiji, you literally knew that they had the capacity to do that because they threatened they were going to do the same thing with you.
Correct. And my ex-husband is also a graphic designer. By profession, he does that too.
Wow. I didn't realize there was a whole other group of people. So he tries to force a 12-year-old girl to claim that Swamiji had had sex with her. She refused. He tries to force the wife of one of his friends to claim that she had had sex with Swamiji. She refused. Finally, he can't find a female victim, so he pretends he's a victim. Is clear enough evidence that he was so desperate to try to make Swamiji out in a bad light that if he couldn't find a fake victim, he would make himself a fake victim.
The fact that he was already charged with and sent to prison by the time they went to court in Los Angeles and went to trial definitely hindered his process in putting that case against Swamiji.
Okay. They didn't leave it at that, did they? They continued to pursue fake victims. And they finally caught one. We know for a fact she's lying because she's disease-riddled. She's so contagious that her own medical report states if she even just touches her lips, she can pass on herpes. The dates that she claimed Swamiji raped her in this ashram, Swamiji himself wasn't even physically in the ashram. He was traveling.
And he was particularly saying Sri Prabha, which was
my ex-husband, Douglas MacKallor.
Particularly saying that he knows this and he's going to do something about it. And immediately her first reaction is to refuse entirely, and not that she feels that there are disgruntled people, ex-members of the foundation, want to take revenge on Swamiji, and she agrees with the fact that a scandal or something like this that he is planning is going to be extremely dangerous to the entire name of Swamiji at the time. Though later on, Atira was convinced, perhaps by Lennin Karuppan, whom she had a relationship with.
A rape victim would not notify the rapist, hey, watch out, people are onto you. So that email, do we still have a copy of this?
Yes. How Aarti is saying to the secretary that she is very concerned about Swamiji. She's very concerned about his safety. That she cared about this mission.
Yes, and she cared about him.
And that she cared about him. Suddenly, what happened? Who, for whatever reason, want to take revenge on Swamiji. And she recognized that people would do this for money. She initially refused this completely, showing that her allegations against Swamiji are completely false.
Absolutely.
Just changing your story like that does not happen to a real victim,
No.
and I can say so for a fact.
Yes.
But this email shows that Vinay and Douglas conspiring against Swamiji, because Vinay is clearly making a statement
Yes.
to Aarti Rao, who's known as Parameshwari Mai,
Yes.
that Douglas has a plan.
Right.
He's not revealing the plan in that email, but he's clearly telling, literally inviting Aarti Rao to be part of them, and Douglas has a plan. It's coming up.
Wow.
And Vinay had in August 2009, prior to August, he was, there were rumors going around about him pursuing a relationship with a minor. And because my parents were very concerned about the fact that I was talking to him all the time. I was completely isolated from them. They couldn't talk to me. And when they...
How were you isolated from them?
I was not talking to them.
Okay.
I was not listening to them. Vinay had successfully convinced me to not talk to them and not believe what they're saying, because he is feeding lies into me from the very beginning that Swamiji is not the person that Swamiji is not the person that he says, that there are many women who are coming forward and saying this. Basically the same thing that he's told her, that he's told Aarti.
Wow.
He is trying to implant in my head.
Wow.
And he was very much trying to, as a pedophile and as a child sex offender does, trying to pick out me from my family. So saying all these bad things about my family, my brother, everyone in the Sangha who, ended up becoming like my family because we were pretty involved at that time. Saying all these bad times just was easy, making it easy for him to completely pick me out in November of 2009, which is when I had completely, when he tried to completely pick me out and asked me, okay, you have to run away with me now. I completely refused and went and told my parents the truth.
Wow.
So
that was what finally sparked your inner fire that something is not right here.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, the entire time, I myself was facing personal health issues, which made me more dependent on a relationship with him, or had been something that he can exploit easily. My health was deteriorating, all in part because of what he was doing.
Right.
To me.
Because again, molestation by definition is taking advantage of someone weaker, whether that's mentally, emotionally, or physically weaker.
So when he was in the spring and summer of 2009, this rumor was going around that he was a child molester, and also on top of that, he was, when rumor came to Swamiji, of course, so immediately Swamiji kicked Vinay out. And there is a document saying that you are no longer a part of the Sangha, you're no longer welcome to be in the leadership position that we have trusted you with because of your immoral contact, continuous contact, despite what the parents have told you.
So Swamiji immediately sent him out.
Immediately. And
No
Swamiji
tolerance policy.
did not even know the extent to which what he actually did to me.
Wow.
He just knew he's contacting her. But still, what did not come out was the amount of times he kidnapped me to his apartment.
Wow.
So, it all goes to show that in the end, Swamiji is paying for the sacrifice that he ultimately did.
Wow.
And he literally risked his entire Sangha, his entire name, fame, money, everything for devotees, for me, for her. And who knows how many people, how many victims who have not come forward yet of Vinay Bharadwaj and Douglas MacKallor, who they were.
And let's not forget Lennin Karuppan also. The role that he played in all of this seems a little bit more silent. He morphed the videos, but I understand he's also been convicted of crimes.
He's
And
also
then very
very
recently,
those who know him in Tamil Nadu, he has a connection with Sun TV and political because of his family.
Yes.
So that's why they're able to make it in this extent, big and Doug tried it in a smaller way, scale proved this is working,
Mm.
and they took it in a bigger scale.
Wow.
Lenin got in trouble for his immoral and hurtful relationships with women inside of the Sangha. And
Yes.
at that point, he was kicked out of the Sangha, and
Wow.
that made him also another disgruntled member.
So that's one thing that these two share in common. Both Vinay and Lennin were kicked out of Nithyananda Sangha for having inappropriate relationships with women. So one thing that all of us know is that Swamiji is clear. His organization is first and foremost the Sannyas Sampradaya, which means that one of the basic moral codes we live by is the code of chastity. There's no such thing as tantric sex going on. There's no such thing as a sex contract anybody signs. The men's dorm, the women's dorm are kept completely separate. There's no interrelations between anybody on this campus except for the married couples who are married when they come in and live in their own private
They
apartments.
have to be legally married.
They have to be legally married. That's right. So the fact that these two men both had inappropriate relationships, one of them with a minor, was enough for Swamiji to kick them out of their Sangha. They retaliated and tried to literally destroy Swamiji's mission. Now, Aarti Rao did not immediately go along with this. She tried to send a warning to Swamiji, but at what point was she convinced? Do we know when the agreement was actually struck between them and she's no longer warning the ashram, instead she's helping to conspire against it?
In 2010 March, fake morphed video came out, which was heavily destructive to
Yes.
the Sangha.
Yes.
After that, Swamiji was arrested, I think in April,
Illegally.
illegally without a victim. For
No
6
victim,
months.
no evidence,
For-
no crime.
For 6 months, so there was no victim there. There was no crime. But Lennin Karuppan had went ahead and filed a false allegation of rape.